I'm Henry Collins, a member of the board here at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Reston. I'm especially delighted to welcome back to our pulpit Reverend Kimberley Debus, who will be with us this morning while Reverend Aileen is elsewhere for the Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you, Reverend Kimberley, for joining us this morning. We're looking forward to hearing you speak later about courage in uncertain times, although not necessarily the type of courage you needed when you appeared on Jeopardy last year. Whether you are here in the church sanctuary or watching on Zoom, we are so glad you've joined us this morning. No matter how old you are or how young, wherever you may be on your spiritual journey, however you identify, and whomever you love, know you are always welcome here. You are indeed welcome to this place, whether you are attending this service in person or online. In fact, congregants who are here in person, let's take a moment to wave hello to our online participants, which are right up there. Okay. Excellent. I have a handful of announcements this morning. First, we have a couple of things to say about our gift card program for Cornerstones, and we'll have just a couple of minutes of clarification, please. Yes, please.
Hi. And let me just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. There are 20 young people in our community who will get Christmas presents because of you all. So thank you to all of the gift cards that were taken. And again, we did it all last year too. So we're doing really well. And what we will do is I have to bring them back, or I'm not driving right now, so Tim's going to do it for me, but we're going to bring them back to Cornerstones on Thursday. So I need if there's anyone here who has not turned the gift card in, I need you to do so either today or you could drop it off in the box at the church, or give it to Tim Norton. And Tim is not here right now, so okay. I guess we'll have to have you bring it to me. Okay, my address is in. You can bring it and drop it off with the concierge by the building. I'll get it and we'll get it there. Okay, but thanks from Cornerstone and from all the kids in our community.
Thanks very much. And I think if anyone has their cards this morning, they can probably just leave them in the office after the service.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. Let's see. We have another announcement about an important event coming up, the AGM. Could you please come up and tell us all about that?
Good morning. My name is Denise Kerwin, and I am the chairperson of the Alternative Gift Market, which will take place right here in this sanctuary this coming Saturday, December 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I've been a member here for about 20 years. The first 4 or 5 years I heard about this AGM. What was it? I don't know. I didn't do much about it. I don't want you to make the same mistake in case you're new. The idea behind an alternative gift market is that you can donate to charity, and we will give you a nice greeting card and a description of the cause that you donated to. You can then give that card to a friend or loved one in lieu of a physical Christmas gift. But the AGM is more than that. You can just come and donate to charity. You don't have to, if you say, oh, I don't have anybody to give a gift to, you can just donate. There will be representatives from 24 plus organizations, both local and international, that will be here. They would love to talk to you about what they do in our community. I think you'd be surprised at all the things that are going on. Some of them are even looking for volunteers. If you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, this is your chance. I know that money is tight for some people, but we have several items on our gift list that are less than $10. We also have a kids list if you have younger kids that would like to donate, and the amounts are much smaller for the kids list. If you still want to give something physical, we have that option covered too. We will have gifts from Amani Juyu. These are fair trade gifts made by African women. And we will also have representatives here from Ukrainian Relief with goodies and handcrafts. Coffee and donuts to early bird shoppers. Okay, come early, get your coffee, get your donuts. If you have any questions, you can talk to me, you can talk to Annie, you can talk to Dora, you can talk to Ann Welch, or you can talk to Maggie. There she is in the back. That's most of my wonderful committee. This is our 25th anniversary. We would love to see everybody in the church participate this year, so thank you very much, and I hope to see you Saturday. Oh, if you can't come on Saturday, we have an online option. Just go to the church website, look for Alternative Gift Market, and you'll see how to proceed. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, the AGM brings in about 20 to 25,000 or so each year, but it's all passed through. It doesn't really come to, we're just hosting the event. So all the funds that come in that are spent go to those charities that are designated. Over the years, Couture and I bought flocks of chickens or pairs of sheep or bicycles or medical supplies. So you can do that too. Hope you'll do that. Okay, moving along. All are invited to join UUCR choir members for our annual outreach caroling event next Sunday, December 7th at 1 p.m. This is a very special activity in our choir year when we take our holiday spirit out into the community to share the joy of the season with others. You do not need to be a choir member to go caroling with us. In fact, people sing better when they're singing Christmas carols, I think. It's been scientifically proven. We will sing familiar carols. Songbooks are provided, and all ages are welcome. Meet in the East Lobby, that one over there, and you will then carpool to 2 separate locations from here. So please carol with us and help us share the love and goodwill of the holiday season with senior citizens in our Reston community. On December 14, 2 weeks from now, we'll have a special all-ages, interactive, no-rehearsal holiday pageant. Talk about courage in uncertain times. During the worship service. Look for the flyers and request a speaking or a non-speaking part by following the link in the order of service or by talking with Linda Weaver about your interest in becoming either a speaking or non-speaking player in the pageant. Adults, teens, and children of all ages are all encouraged to take part. And finally, a question. Would you like to, kind of hypothetical question, would you like to meet with your state senator or delegate in Richmond? Join your UUCR friends and volunteers or staff from the Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy or Cornerstones to travel to the Day for All People in Richmond on January 21st. For more information, please see Dora Anderson. There she is. So that could be very interesting, and an opportunity to interact personally with your elected representative. I think that's very valuable. Now, let us center ourselves for worship. Please take a moment to silence or turn off your electronic devices. Please take some deep, quieting breaths with me. And let us enter our time of worship together as we enjoy this morning's prelude.
Our opening words come from the Reverend Kristen Grassel-Schmitt. Though hatred perches in the seat of power and cruelty fractures the rule of law, while the few seek to control the many through fear and anger, and so much around us is so heavy, within each and every one of us, still, beauty is enfleshed, goodness has a home, mercy has a servant, joy bubbles up and out and through, and the light of truth burns so, so bright. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise as your body calls to you as we sing Joy in the Morning.
The words also appear in your order of service.
Good morning. I'm Lesley Tyson, your worship associate today, and our words for this chalice lighting are adapted from Erica Hewitt, Bold and Courageous Together. We draw courage. Courage from the Latin cor, meaning heart. Often named as our core, and in early meanings, courage meant protecting one's core. And it today still means that, to enable us to face whatever life has to offer. From courage comes encourage, to hearten, to offer strength, impart confidence to another, to be bold in engaging the world around us, to face what scares us, to give one another the confidence and the heart to live as fully as possible, a sacred act of community. We light this chalice, a symbol of all that we are, all that we have done together. We affirm our relationships with one another. We recognize our community and our power in connection. We accept our responsibility to be bold and courageous, be all that we will as our shared ministry encourages those within and beyond our walls.
Here at UUCR, we have a beloved tradition of singing our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church. If you are visiting us today for the first time, please accept this as our blessing to you.
Now is the time in our service where we share our joys and concerns so that no one ever has to hold them alone. If you are joining us remotely this morning, you may wish to light a real or virtual candle wherever you are to mark what is on your heart as members of the in-person congregation place stones in the water here in the sanctuary. If those of you at home would like to share what is on your heart in the congregational chat, please write to all or everyone, and please remember that what you say will be made public. Those at home and here in the congregation can read each other's joys and concerns shared in the chat, and then enter into our own time of reflection and prayer as we listen to our meditation music. Please come up.
Let us pause for a moment and be together in prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love, we are grateful for this community that is with us in both times of joy and in sorrow. We celebrate the joys in our lives that sustain you as they sustain all of us. We hold in our hearts this morning all who are facing hardship or difficulty, those of our own, those of loved ones, those in our communities, those in the world. We know so much is hard, and we cannot hold it all. But as the poet Frederick Joseph reminds us, some say the world is ending, but endings are only beginnings, wearing heavier shoes. Even ruin grows tired, even ruin sleeps. And in the quiet between disasters, love kneels in the dust, as if searching for a dropped earring, and finds God instead. To love now is to drink from a cracked chalice and call the water holy, even as it leaks through your hands. Because most days hope feels like a match trying to teach the rain about fire. Still, love remains the only empire that does not fall, and stars stay brightest in the sky that is darkest. Blessed be, and amen.
As a self-funded church, which means that Reverend Kimberley will not be donating her Jeopardy winnings to us, I'm afraid, UUCR relies on the generosity of its members and friends to fund our daily operations and to ensure that the church and its resources are here for us and others, now and in the future. Our pledges support our worship and music programs, our religious education program, programs for members and friends, community outreach, and connections to Unitarian Universalism across the country. We now invite you to support the work of UU Reston by making your donation to the collection plate if you are here in the sanctuary, or at the link on the slide and in the chat box if you are watching by Zoom. Thank you so much for your generosity and support of our beloved spiritual home.
Thank you, Diane, for that beautiful music. Our reading today comes from When People Ask, Rosemary Watola Tromer. I want a word that means okay and not okay. More than that, a word that means devastated and stunned with joy. I want the word that says, I feel it all at once. The heart is not like a songbird, singing only one note at a time. It's more like a Tuvan throat singer, able to sing both a drone and simultaneously 2 or 3 harmonies high above it. A sound, the Tuvans say, that gives the impression of wind swirling among rocks. The heart understands swirl, how the churning of opposite feelings weaves through us like an insistent breeze, leads us wordlessly deeper into ourselves, blesses us with paradox, so we might walk more openly into this world so rife with devastation, this world so ripe with joy.
So this spring, I took a hard look in the mirror when I was asked by another congregation who knows me well to preach on the prophecy of Ezekiel in the Hebrew Scriptures. It had been an unfulfilled auction item offered by the minister who wound up leaving before they could deliver it. And because this congregation knew me, they figured I could deliver the goods. Let me tell you, Ezekiel doesn't pull any punches. He's writing during the Babylonian exile in, say, 597 BCE. The Babylonians have taken over Jerusalem and deported thousands of people to a foreign land. Ezekiel, a priest, is with them, and he tells them and the leaders back at the temple that the prophets have been telling you for centuries to get your act together, but you didn't listen, and now look at the mess we're in. Trouble's on the way, it's here, God is pissed, and anything bad that happens now is on your head, including the inevitable destruction of the temple in 586 BCE. Now, I read this book and I thought about the current state of affairs, and I realized something. I'm much more a cowardly lion. I mean, not completely. I did spend much of my 20s and 30s as an activist for LGBTQ rights, but I was one of a crowd, a supporting character, a glorified extra, really. It was other people who spoke and put their lives on the line. I hadn't found my voice. And that kind of continued even into ordained ministry. I danced around the edges of prophetic sermons and actions, leaning instead into spiritual growth and history and affirmation, which I'm really good at. But I read Ezekiel, and something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Maybe it's moving into postmenopausal coronage. Don't discount how important that is. Maybe it's the hostile government takeover. Maybe it's reading Ezekiel and realizing I don't want to be one of the priests left behind at the temple as it's destroyed and wondering why. I'm ready to preach the dangerous sermon. I'm ready to declare and fight for the moral high ground. And you may be a little uncomfortable this Sunday after Thanksgiving, but if it helps, I'm uncomfortable saying it still. But I can no longer be ineffective. I don't want to feel like this anymore, and I don't think you do either. I don't want to be like the townspeople of La Paz who fell silent. I want to be the rooster. And what I want to crow about essentially is, well, what I'm doing now, using my voice and my words and summoning the courage to be firmly on the moral high ground, to refuse to be complicit. Because I'm mad. And you should be too. It's hard to admit it all as Unitarian Universalists. We center love. We work toward an inclusive, expansive, beloved community. We talk about covenant and right relationship and growing into harmony with each other. Even the nuggets of our theology that we carry around with us. God is love, God is one, we're all saved, we're all children of one humanity. I mean, we sing about amazing grace and our hearts being in a holy place. We preach tolerance and acceptance. We emphasize belonging. It's beautiful, but the world is so hard and so uncertain. And despite the Hindu mystic Ramakrishna reminding us that the winds of God's grace are always blowing and it's for us to raise the sails, what if we don't want to? What if we're struggling too much? What if our hearts are not in a holy place? I remember back to February of 2017, and the New York Times ran an article titled, "Liberals Need to Be Nicer to Conservatives." I had nothing but swears. Well, actually, I had a little more than that, and I was invited to write an article for UU World about kindness over niceness because what they were doing wasn't kind. I'm going to quote myself because the call to niceness got under my skin. I noted that I'm not calling on us to be bullies, far from it. As former First Lady Michelle Obama famously said, when they go low, we go high. And we still must do that because right now, because of all that Unitarian Universalists know about humanity and potential and how the world works, we do indeed occupy the moral high ground. And not being bullies is part and parcel of that occupation. But occupying the moral high ground and building the beloved community are not the same thing as being liked in our generally conciliatory manner, born from centuries of Protestant decorum, win us neither friends nor justice. We need to shed the veneer of respectability in favor of our faith's true call to be kind. Now, I shared that with you because, yes, it's still true, and it's harder now. Going high didn't work, and the bullies came back harder. We did our best to show grace. We did our best to work for justice and hold the moral high ground, and we still do. But there are a lot of days when my heart is not in a holy place, and I'm not showing very much grace. The frustration is real. It's so hard to watch our values compromised, hard to watch people harmed, hard to watch families torn apart, hard to watch carelessness and greed and hate and hypocrisy. And it can be debilitating. We can get so easily paralyzed by all that's happening around us, and it can be hard to find our voice when the cacophony is so loud. We have to remember that we live in a world unbelievably bombarded with messaging. In 2023, just 2 years ago, it was estimated that in one day we would take in more information than a person 500 years ago would take in their lifetime. In 2011, In the early days of the explosion of social media, we were already taking in 5 times as much information as people did in 1986. Now multiply that exponentially, about 5% more information over these last 13 years. We are talking over 74 gigabytes of information a day. Our brains were not made for this much information, and it comes in, and some of it isn't good. A fair bit of it is pretty harmful. But there's so much of it, it keeps us quiet because we don't have the platform, we don't know how to express it, and if we do, we get crucified in the comments. We might get canceled. We might never be able to show our faces anywhere again. And all too often it keeps us quiet because we don't have the platform. And worse, we aren't even sure we're getting all the information that we should be. The fact that tech bro billionaires control so much of the information we see means they get to decide the messages we should take in. That's why many of us canceled our New York Times and Washington Post subscriptions in the run-up to the 24 election, because tech bros owned those papers and decided we didn't need to see some stories or editorials. And more recently, the tech bros and their billionaire friends are controlling other kinds of media, including network media, by which I mean ABC, CBS, and NBC, by which I mean asserting their control over who can say what on late night. Because as George Orwell taught us, whoever controls the words controls the world. Now, we've known this for a long time, since the book 1984 came out in 1948. George Lakoff in the early 2000s told us that how discourse is framed matters too. I think back to 1995, where we suddenly heard inflammatory language like death tax rather than estate tax, or calling people illegal, or calling welfare government handouts. These pejorative phrases, these reframings that politicians used to control a narrative. Now, this is a narrative we've been fighting for 30 years. Okay, that's a lot. Sucks to be us, right? Yeah. But here are some truths. First, we do hold the moral high ground. We do. And honestly, the people trying to convince you that authoritarianism is moral know that. It's why they're working so hard to control the messaging. And we know that our search for truth and meaning, our pluralism, our way of understanding the world is key to this. It's honestly one of the ways that we have survived as a species, learning from other people, multiple cultures, holding more than one idea, valuing a multiplicity of experiences and beliefs, and responding with kindness to those in need. Now, that doesn't help anybody control the world. See, the downside of that openness, that big tent, is that it doesn't lend itself to a single message, and honestly, our message can be kind of wishy-washy at times. When you have only one big issue and that issue is power, well, that's easy. A single authoritarian message can be galvanizing, and it's easy to convince people that they're the victim and that only a certain group of people can fix it and you have to follow them. Well, until, of course, those people go to college and meet other people, or read a book with other ideas, or suddenly lose government benefits, or find out their neighbor has been disappeared to a detention facility, or discover that the shooter is one of them, or that free speech isn't free for everyone. Because while they're trying to control the words, it's a paper tiger Columnist Jamel Bowie reminds us of this idea that we are in an authoritarian state itself. This idea is itself propaganda. He notes that they keep messing it up. I mean, holy crap, if you watch the news this weekend, they are messing it up. And we keep successfully pushing back. I mean, we're not there yet. But he says they're hoping that if enough people believe it's real, it will become real. But we know truth. We hold the moral high ground, and we must have the courage to push back. But from whence does that courage come? Well, let's just start with our faith. It seems simple. Our faith puts love at the center, but it's strong, it's complex, deeply complex, and it's grounded in morality and ethics. And even more, it's grounded in community and covenant, which we need more of more than ever. Because when we come together, something changes. One person can't do it alone, but two can. A congregation can share the load, the burdens, the work, cheer each other on. And this is where we find courage. Because it's easier when we do it together and trust one another and feel connected. Your religious community is a community of belonging and trust and connection. So remind yourself, this room is full of shared courage. Remind yourself of your center. Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay, Self-Reliance, isn't about individualism. It's about knowing who you are so that you can be courageous in community. Tend to your own center for strength. Remind others of their center. And that includes finding avenues for your anger and support for your fears. I know a congregation who has a small group of members who go out to somebody's farm for what they call sweary tea. And they get it out, and they have a space where they can throw pottery the side of a barn just to get it out, right? It's not good for us to hold it inside. Ezekiel didn't hold it inside. I mean, he told them, he gave them a what for. And then after the temple fell, he had a plan. I swear to God, if you read Ezekiel, there's pages and pages and pages and pages of Ezekiel turned architect. But he had a plan, a way to galvanize each other, his community. He was scared too. He was angry too. But he thought of his community. And so can we. We need to tend the spark inside of us that fuels our fire of commitment. Stoke each other's flames, feel the warmth and the strength, and let that lead to some courageous action. So yes, we have to keep protesting, whether in the courts, in the streets, with our dollars. I mean, we've already seen how our dollars make a difference to Target, to Disney. I loved watching Disney fold on Jimmy Kimmel because our dollars told them that free speech matters, and we cannot let up on the pressure. We have to keep owning and claiming the words, refusing to buy into their frames. Marketing strategist Rebecca Arbana reminds us that naming is not neutral. It's an active framing, an attempt to shape how we feel, think, and respond. And that's why it's so important to push back when language is manipulated for political gain. The Associated Press's refusal to use Gulf of America isn't just about journalistic integrity. It's about resisting an attempt to rewrite reality. As Unitarian Universalists, we have a responsibility to speak up and speak out and hold the moral high ground and use our words. UU World's executive director, Kristen Cox-Roby, recently wrote that democracy depends on protecting voices that those in power seek to silence. She reminds us that Unitarian Universalists have been here before, and we have acted in accordance with our values to support the First Amendment. In 1971, when the federal government tried to block the Pentagon Papers from being made public, the UUA's own Beacon Press, alongside Senator Mark Gravel, published the full record. According to Beacon, as a result of publishing the papers, President Nixon personally attacked Beacon Press. The director of the press was subpoenaed to appear at Daniel Ellsberg's trial, and J. Edgar Hoover approved an FBI subpoena of the entire denomination's bank records. But our faith stood firm. We will help reduce the likelihood of our nation becoming involved in a similar situation, said then UUA President Robert West. In other words, transparency and truth are not optional. They are acts of moral courage. Moral courage, grounded and centered in love. We don't want to be the people in the temple that Ezekiel's throwing shade at, along with a fiery wheel and flying chariots and stuff because we complied with those who want to control us. No. We cannot ignore what's happening right now because the prophets have been calling us for years, decades, centuries, millennia. This is a moral moment, and we cannot keep quiet. Yeah, there's a lot to do, and we don't have to do it alone. As Unitarian minister Edward Everett Hale famously said, I am only one, but I am still one. I cannot do everything, but I still can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something I can do. Do what you can. It is time. Look around this look around this room and find your courage. It is time. Speak out. It is time. We will fight for justice and equity, for the outcast and the vulnerable, for the lonely and the hurting and the desperate, for the progressive and the moderate and the conservative. It's time. We'll fight for the teacher and the civil servant and the soldier and the veteran and the researcher and the healthcare worker, for those fortunate enough to be born here and those who still seek to call this place home. It is time. We'll fight for those facing food scarcity and housing scarcity, for the safety and protection of queer and trans folk. We will fight for the health of every single person and this planet. It is time. We will combat hatred and ignorance and violence with overwhelming and powerful love. We will not become people at war with the world, but for it. It is time. We'll fight for everyone. We'll fight for everything. We'll do everything in our power to love the hell out of this world. It is time. And it starts here, today, with us. It is time to reclaim your courage and answer the call and ignite the fire of commitment. Let's go. And let's sing. 1028, the fire of commitment. Please rise, body and spirit and courage as we sing.
And
Before I offer our words of benediction, I want to encourage you during coffee hour to talk to one another and name one thing you can do. And maybe that thing is something you'll do together, but what's that one thing? What's that one thing that you can do this week? Because one thing leads to another and leads to another, and soon we discover, as Kimberley Quinn Johnson tells us, that we are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart this new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. Say that with me. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. Go in love. Go in joy. Go in courage. And go in peace.
The chalice is now extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and souls of each one of us. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place and share it with those you know, with those you love, and most especially with those you have yet to meet.